Coming up on News Live at 6, it's Veterans Day here at SU. Find out what makes our college so different than others around the nation.
Plus, the president-elect picks a cabinet. A congresswoman from upstate New York is now going to be his ambassador to the United Nations. Who she is and what happens next.
And I can have everything that you can expect tonight and this week in your weather here in Syracuse. News Live at 6 starts right now.
CitrusTV News Live at 6, your campus news leader.
Welcome into News Live at 6, everyone. I'm Max Williams.
And I'm Jake Morel. Thanks for joining us.
Well, today is a particularly special day in which we honor the men and women who gave their ultimate sacrifice for our nation.
Our Tyler Oldano joins us live from outside the Veterans Resource Center tonight. Tyler, what makes SU's relationship with veterans so special?
Thank you guys so much. It's got to be our history with the veterans. Now, this building behind me, this was made back in 2021, but the Resource Center itself has actually been around at SU since 2009. I spoke with one man by the name of Charlie Pogue who says that another thing that makes SU's history so important has to be how long and how close our relationship with veterans is. We apologize for technical difficulties. There seems to be an issue with our video system. Now, behind me, though, is another relationship of Syracuse's close ties with the veterans. It's the Prisoners of War and Missing in Action flag. That flag was designed by an SU alum, and that flag has been nationally recognized across the country as a flag that represents those who have fought in war and who have had their true fate left unknown. That was made by an SU graduate who fought in World War II and graduated here in 1940 by the name of Meet Heisley. So from our station to yours, from CitrusTV to you, we're wishing you a happy Veterans Day. Back to you in the studio.
Tyler, thank you. Such important reporting. That flag, the only flag other than the American flag to fly over the White House, Max. Pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's amazing. All right, well, SU's campus store locations are temporarily closed for the anticipated transition into Barnes & Noble's college stores. Locations include the campus store and market in Shine Student Center, the Slocum Art and Supply store in the Slocum Hall, and the Orange Shop in the Dome.
Following the transition with Barnes & Noble College, all online stores will feature an increased variety of products and enhanced customer experience. The Orange Shop in the Dome will remain open during the games, while the Shine and Slocum Shop locations will reopen next Monday.
Well, hey, it's that time of the year. Syracuse University is hosting Holidays at Hendricks on December 8th. Due to the popularity of the event and the limited seating in the chapel, seat reservation is required, and tickets are on sale now through November 18th. The concert features the Syracuse University Symphony Orchestra, student organist, and the Morton Schiff Jazz Ensemble. Tickets can be ordered through the Student Box office website.
Max, I guess it really is that time of year. The first snowflakes of the season could fall in central New York tonight, but don't get your boots out yet. If there is any snow tonight, it would be on the hilltops and mixed with rain. I guess if you're a frequent hilltopper, Max, you shouldn't go out tonight.
I was going to say, I am not ready for this
snow
I'm
not ready for the snow either. I don't even know where my snow boots are or where my jacket is.
I think I left them at home.
Yeah, I think they're still at home. I know that it is pretty chilly out, though. When I was walking into the station, I was a little cold, and it was raining a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's hope that stopped. But our Isabella Galan is out on the weather deck and can tell us more. Isabella, how's it feel out there?
Unfortunately, guys, I am not expecting some snow tonight. I think we're just stuck with some good old rain. Right now, we're at 55 degrees, so not anywhere close enough to be cold enough for it to snow tonight. We need it to be 32 degrees, and 55 degrees, I fear, is just too warm. And the temperatures are going to stay that way. Tonight, it's going to only dip down to about 51 degrees. We're going to have some winds, making it feel a little bit chillier. I'm a little cold right now, actually, but not cold enough for some snow. I wish we were getting some snow, but I think we're just going to have to stay stuck with some rain. The rain has picked up a bit in the last few minutes, and it's probably going to stay this way throughout the rest of the night. But that's all I have for you guys right now. I'll have your full 5-day forecast a little bit later on in the show, but for now, I'm going to send it back to you guys in studio.
All right, we'll see you soon, Isabella. Governor Kathy Hochul signed a legislative package today in appreciation of Veterans Day. This legislation includes the renaming of bridges and highways in honor of fallen heroes. Hochul also signed an executive order to improve the quality of supportive housing services available to New York veterans and military families. The order will mandate annual training for housing providers that receive state funds to house veterans.
And WellNow and Excelis Blue Cross Blue Shield agreed on a new contract ending a stalemate that had blocked Excelis members from in-network access for the past 10 months. WellNow will rejoin the Excelis Blue Cross Blue Shield provider network starting on November 15th. The two sides were at odds over reimbursement rates for care at WellNow.
And Oswego County is raising funds to build a new hospice care facility. Executive Director of Anthony House, Katri Spinella, says that they do not have the necessary resources for hospice care, and it could be a game changer for the county if they receive enough funds. Her goal is to provide specialty-trained staff and volunteers to offer 24-hour care and support.
A man's body was found in Onondaga Creek yesterday morning. It was pulled from the creek after the Syracuse Fire Department received a drowning call earlier that morning. The Syracuse Police Department urges anyone with information to contact them as the investigation is still ongoing.
A former washing machine factory near the Syracuse Inner Harbor was torn down this past weekend. Onondaga County Executive Ryan McMahon and Mayor Ben Walsh says the work is a significant step towards revitalizing the area surrounding the harbor. Plans for the site's redevelopment is expected to be announced in the next year.
And you may want to be a little more careful on your morning commute to work here in upstate New York. It's peak season for crashes involving deer. According to the Institute for Traffic Safety, there was over 35,000 animal-related crashes in 2023, killing 9 people. The DMV advises you to slow down and flash your headlights when you see deer. Try to avoid swerving around them.
A New York State Park employee died after responding to a wildfire in Orange County. 18-year-old Daryl Vasquez was killed by the fire in Sterling Forest. Governor Kathy Hochul responding to this today, saying, quote, "Our state employees are working around the clock to protect our communities, and we are keeping them close in our thoughts as they put their lives on the line to stop the spread of these wildfires." As of right now, police are still investigating that death.
Firefighters are continuing to battle the major wildfire that is blazing through the border of New York and New Jersey. The wildfire has been burning since Friday and has now spread over 2,500 acres of land. The fires still remain 0% contained, even after receiving rainfall yesterday afternoon. It's reported that it may take crews until the end of the week to extinguish the wildfire.
Hopefully they can pick that out quickly. All right, one person is dead and another is injured after 2 separate incidents at the Ithaca Gorges early Sunday morning. Ithaca Fire Department received a 911 call from someone falling near the Stewart Avenue Bridge. Firefighters were able to save the victim and airlift them to a hospital.
Those firefighters received another call of someone in the water at the Fall Creek Gorge. A body was found there then by the Stewart Avenue Bridge. The Ithaca Police Department says the 2 incidents are unrelated and is asking anyone with information to contact them.
And a man was killed by a car near the Amazon warehouse in Clay on Saturday. According to the Onondaga Sheriff's Office, Basir Rashid was hit by a car as he walked from a bus stop near the warehouse on Morgan Road around 7 p.m. Rashid was on his way to work at the warehouse when he was crossing the 4-lane road when he was hit. The sheriff's office said the man was wearing dark clothes and was not using a crosswalk.
And now to the latest on the transition efforts of the president-elect. Donald Trump is now telling the first members of his administration the opposite of his signature phrase. He's now saying, "You're hired." As he assembles his team, he's taking talent from right here in upstate New York.
Yeah, that's right. CitrusTV political anchor Luke Radel is here to tell us who's leaving upstate New York to join the Trump cabinet. Luke, good evening.
Jake and Max, good evening. President-elect Donald Trump has selected Congresswoman Elise Stefanik to be his U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. Stefanik has represented New York's 21st congressional district for the past 10 years, serving folks up in the North Country not too far from here. But what is her international outlook like? Stefanik has been a staunch ally of Israel, even before the October 7th attacks. She called on the current ambassador to the UN to oppose, quote, any anti-Israel resolution that comes before the UN Security Council, end quote. So you can imagine she will do the same when she takes on the role sometime next year. Stefanik garnered national attention last year when she grilled college leaders about anti-Semitism on their campuses. She spoke in prime time at the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee this summer and spoke to yours truly about her relationship with President-elect Trump. You're working as GOP conference chair in the House. You've been doing that for a couple of years now, and then you had a primetime spot tonight at the convention. What does that mean for the folks back home in your district, especially now those folks in Oneida County that have been added into your district this cycle? What does that mean for them?
Well, it's a real honor. I always work every day to give my district a seat at the highest level, and I bring my issues right to the top with President Trump. He cares deeply about the future of this country, but also of upstate New York. He knows New York very, very well. I've hosted him in my district before, and I'm excited to get to work when we elect him this November.
And Jacob Max Stefanik is not the only New Yorker joining Trump's team. He's also tapped Lee Zeldin, the former congressman and candidate for governor, as his EPA administrator.
Hey, Luke, Stefanik has now represented the 21st for just about a decade. What happens to her seat now that it's left open?
Yeah, so first Stefanik must resign her seat. That'll happen sometime early next year, it's expected. Then Governor Kathy Hochul will have to schedule a special election between 70 and 90 days from the seat becoming vacant. Note that I reached out to soon-to-be former Congressman Brandon Williams of the 22nd District about whether he'd consider moving up to the North Country to run for that seat. His team's not yet responded. We'll keep trying, Jake.
Luke, thanks so much. Well, coming up on News Live at 6, President-elect Trump appointed more members to his cabinet. Find out who they are and what this means for his administration.
Plus, we have more updates on who will claim control over the U.S. House of Representatives, all that and more after the break. Stay with us.
Welcome to my house. Lately, not my happy place. Everybody's pretty tired of each other. The parents were not themselves. My little brothers were morphing into small creatures. The walls were closing in. Clearly, a case of too much family, too close, 24/7. And there's a lot of that going around right now. If this sounds like your house, try going someplace new. YourLifeYourVoice.org. You'll find lots of ideas to help you handle the family stresses of being confined to close quarters. YourLifeYourVoice.org. It might not get you out of the house, but it could help you find a little more breathing room.
You're watching Citrus TV News live at 6 with Jake Morel, Max Williams, and Isabella Galan. Now, your campus news leader continues.
Welcome back into News Live at 6. Donald Trump named Stephen Miller to be his deputy chief of policy in his next administration today. Miller is one of Trump's longest-serving aides, working for the president-elect since his first campaign for the White House back in 2015.
Yeah, and he had worked as a senior advisor and had been a central figure in many immigration policy decisions. Vice President-elect J.D. Vance also posted a message confirming the decision on X, congratulating Miller on his new role.
And Donald Trump also announced Tom Homan to serve as, quote, border czar in his upcoming administration. Homan acted as the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement Director in the previous Trump administration. He was expected to be offered a position related to border control after backing Trump's zero-tolerance border policy, which led to thousands of families being separated at the southern border.
And a Manhattan judge is expected to make a decision on Donald Trump's immunity case in the form of a written statement tomorrow. Judge Juan Merchant is set to decide whether to uphold the hush money verdict or dismiss it due to a U.S. Supreme Court decision that gives presidents broad immunity from criminal prosecution. Merchant was supposed to rule on the issue back in September, but put it off to, quote, avoid any appearance that he was trying to sway the election.
And there's been an uprise in protests by women promoting the radical 4B feminist movement following President-elect Donald Trump's victory. This movement originated in South Korea, where women refuse to date, get married, have sex, or have children with cisgender men.
Women are now using this movement to speak out against Trump's involvement with overturning Roe v. Wade and his sexual assault accusations. The movement is gaining a lot of traction on TikTok. One video with almost 10 million views includes the caption, quote, doing my part as an American woman by breaking up with my Republican boyfriend last night and officially joined the 4B movement.
And post-presidential election, the U.S. House of Representatives is still up for grabs, with less than 20 races yet to be called. However, the Republican Party is just 4 seats away from claiming control, with 214 seats to the Democrats' 203. The Republican Party earlier this week won the Senate 53 to 46 seats, and Republicans have 27 governor seats to the Democrats' 23.
Well, a scary situation up in the air. A Spirit Airlines flight to Haiti was hit by gunfire as a result of gang-led efforts to stop travel to the country. A flight attendant on board reported minor injuries is currently being evaluated by medical personnel. The plane was struck by gunfire 4 times while attempting to land at the Toussaint-Louverture airport. Spirit said that it is suspending its services to Haiti while it waits for an evaluation of the incident, and the plane has been taken out of service for the time being.
And Florida law restricting the use of all wireless communication devices in public school classrooms has sparked controversy between parents. Critics of the ban have raised safety concerns, arguing that it could obstruct communication during an emergency.
Yeah, the ban is particularly sensitive in Broward County after the 2018 Parkland shooting at Marjorie Stoneham Douglas High School. And the Change.org petition asking for the school to reverse the ban gained over 25,000 signatures.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
Thank you.
From the CitrusTV Weather Center, this is SU's most accurate weather forecast.
Welcome back into News Live at 6. Looking at your temperatures across the region, we're seeing a lot of uniform temperatures once again, the highest being 59 degrees in Elmira down south and the coldest being 54 degrees in Cortland. But Syracuse is kind of sitting around the higher range at 58. Penn Yan also kind of being in the middle with Rochester, 57. We're seeing just a lot of the 50s, never really dipping into the 30s. So definitely, again, no snow from my end. But looking to your 5-day forecast, we're not even going to be seeing snow later in the week, even though those temperatures will start to dip into some freezing temperatures tomorrow, Wednesday, not even Thursday, a little close. We're getting a little closer with 33 degrees being the low, but that's really it. Other than that, we're going to be seeing 43 degrees tomorrow as your main temperature, your highest, 48 degrees on Wednesday, and then the highest temperature being on Saturday, which is sitting at 52 degrees. some partly cloudy skies. We're seeing some sun on Wednesday, so that's some good news. But other than that, we're just going to expect to keep seeing some rain later tonight and then some clouds throughout the rest of the week. That's all I got for you guys right now. Max?
Thank you. In efforts to promote the upcoming movie Wicked has partnered with Mattel to sell movie-inspired dolls. However, the website listed on the toy box leads to a pornographic website instead of the page to promote the movie.
What a blunder, Max. Consumers who already bought the product are advised to discard the product packaging and the obscure link. Mattel has shared that they are taking immediate action to fix the misprint.
Yeah, everything about Saturday's football game in Chestnut Hill was perfect, except for the outcome. Find out why Syracuse fell short against Boston College after the break.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now, your CitrusTV Sports Report.
What started as an ugly game for Syracuse eventually turned into an electric back and forth heavyweight ACC clash that ultimately fell BC's way. Good evening, I'm Carson Fowler. The slow starts have become somewhat of a theme for the Orange this season. Great when it works, terrible when it doesn't. SU came out flat and found itself in an early 14-point deficit against BC. Syracuse eventually found its footing, and it actually took a 21-14 lead in the third quarter, but SU's first and only lead of the football game didn't last long. Boston College came back with a response of its own, 2 scores and a safety that put the Eagles back out in front 30-21. And from that point on, they never trailed. The final score 37-31 at Alumni Stadium. Obviously not the outcome Syracuse football fans wanted, but the MO was clear from the get-go. Boston College was going to run the football. SU just had no answer in this game. Eagles running backs Kai Robichaud and Jordan McDonald carried the football 43 times for a combined 331 rush yards and 3 total touchdowns. Earlier today, Syracuse head coach Fran Brown had a message for all Syracuse football fans that watched Saturday's game.
I'm completely upset. I owe apology to all the alumni that played football here, the alumni that went to school here. Anybody that watched that football game that loves Syracuse know, like, Fran, that is not acceptable. And I have to take that, I have to accept that, and it bothers me a lot.
Syracuse hits the road again this week for its first West Coast matchup of the season with new ACC admit Cal. That game will be on Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Syracuse men's hoops set to host local rival Colgate for its second game of the season tomorrow night. It's been almost a year since the Orange overcame a 24-point second-half deficit to beat the Raiders at home, but the setup for this year's game looks a bit different than in years past. Colgate, for the first time since 2018, does not return an All-Patriot League selection after losing the Patriot League Player of the Year in Braden Smith and fifth-year seniors Keegan Records and Ryan Mofat. Last year, those three combined for 43 of the Raiders' 75 points against Syracuse, so I think it's safe to assume the scoring's going to have to come elsewhere, and it's likely going to come from fifth-year senior Jeff Woodward, who through 2 games is averaging just north of 15 points per game and 7 rebounds. This might be a new-look Colgate team, but it's important to note the last time Colgate beat a Power 5 opponent was November 15th, 2022, and it came against Syracuse. Just thought I'd throw that out there before anyone tries to dismiss this match before it even starts. The Orange tip things off with the Raiders tomorrow night inside the JMA Wireless Dome at 7 p.m. And the Buffalo Bills cruised past the Indianapolis Colts 30-20 at Lucas Oil Stadium on Sunday. They couldn't have drawn up a worse way for the Colts to start this football game. A 23-yard pick six right there. Taron Johnson on the receiving end, who had Joe Flacco, so that was his first passing attempt in the game. The Bills also forced 4 total turnovers on the day. That led to 17 points. It's the Bills' 5th straight win of the season, their last loss coming against the Houston Texans on October 6th. Taking a look at the AFC East Division standings, the Bills currently 5 games ahead of the New York Jets. They're 6 games ahead of the Miami Dolphins. They sit very comfortably in the 2nd place in the AFC behind only the Kansas City Chiefs. Well, fellas, I thought it'd be pretty fun to play this little game that we have. So the New York Times has a NFL playoff simulator. So obviously it's likely the Bills are going to make the postseason.
That looks pretty likely.
Yeah, 99%. But listen, so we have these 6 games here, so we can pick these games and then we can kind of play around. So we can see if they were to lose out, what would their chances be? So let's just try that. So if they were to lose out, we're just playing around here because it's CitrusTV, right?
Love playing around.
So look.
Whoa, 56%.
Wow. Oh, sorry, no, it's changing. 59%
Still
chance, 44,000 simulations. So look. What was a 99% chance to go to the postseason, rather, now 59%. Jake, do you wanna play around here?
I would love to play around.
Okay.
Here, let me see that.
Yeah,
let me
take.
let's
watch.
Let me do an actual record prediction for them and see what their chances are. Then Chiefs lost. Mahomes is the GOAT.
Definitely
49ers lost. They're coming back. Lions lost. Patriots win. Jets win. Aaron Rodgers is washed. Patriots win. Now let's zoom back out. Still a 99% chance.
Let's see. Well, it could be 100.
Wow. Looking good for Buffalo.
Okay.
Could be 100. I think that only happens when they actually make the playoffs, though.
Sounds about right.
Thanks for joining us, Carson. Great stuff.
Absolutely.
Awesome. When we come back, we'll have one last look at your wake-up weather.
Women are bad with money.
It's what the world's been saying for centuries. But now,
We've got something to say.
Save it. Save the old-fashioned advice, the empty excuses. It's all worthless, unlike us.
To our fellow females, it is time to save ourselves by saving our money.
Contributing to our futures. Investing in our independence.
Until we're no longer 80%
more likely than men to live in poverty in retirement.
So again, we say to that, save it.
The falsehoods, the feelings of fault, then the funds.
Learn how to save for your retirement at wesaysaveit.org.
STEM is precise, no margin for error.
Dare to forget that. Dare to have fun with it. Get weird with it. Dare to send those old STEM theories flying past the neighbor's house into outer space. Dare to program something internet-breaking, record-breaking. Dare to blow their minds. Dare to learn the difference between sedimentary and metamorphic rock. Go find those rocks. Dare to keep daring. Dare to STEM. Check out She Can STEM to get started.
And what you can expect when you wake up tomorrow morning, we're going to be seeing 40 degrees with some clouds. So it's going to be 95% cloud coverage, barely any sun in the sky. But, you know, we're just going to keep on going with another fall day here in Syracuse.
Yeah. What's wrong with a fall day here in Syracuse?
I still kind of want some snow, though. I just want to do a live shot with some snow. So that's just selfish.
That's fair. All right.
Well, hey, CBS announced Friday that Stephen Colbert will reveal and interview his People's Magazine's Sexiest Man Alive for the 2024 On the Late Show.
The magazine also announced other categories like Sexiest Musician and Sexiest Dog Dad, to name a few. That I was cold reading that. I was not aware of the Sexiest Dog Dad.
What does that even mean?
That's new, right? Any thoughts on
I've never heard of it.
Who's your sexiest dog dad, Jake?
I don't know. I would have to do some research.
I don't know many dog dads.
Do you think there's a dog dad chance simulator like the New York Times playoff simulator?
Probably not.
That would be really good,
well,
though.
that's all the time we have for you on Live at 6 this Monday. Thanks for joining us. Follow us on X and Instagram, and have a great night, Syracuse.